Motion to approve.
What's that?
So moved.
Minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks. You wanna address it?
I guess, is there any public comment? Does Ms. Becker wish to make any public comment?
No, thank you. I'm just listening.
Okay. All right, so I guess we would now go into executive session.
So Eileen, if you can leave the meeting and then I will send you an email.
Okay, I will do that.
Ms. Becker, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay. So, the board was in executive session to consider disposition of complaints 23-1023, 24-0411-1, and 24-0411-2. So at this point, consistent with what was discussed in executive session, I will suggest that a motion be made relative to complaint 23-1023 to issue a final order accepting the mediation report relative to that complaint. Said final order indicating that the parties will adhere to the terms of the mediation report and the agreement set forth therein, and that compliance with paragraph 1 of the mediation work will occur as set forth, and compliance with paragraph 2 of the mediation report will occur within 30 calendar days of the issuance of the final order. I would suggest that a motion be made to approve what I just set forth with second, and then board can vote on it.
Me. Jeff, do you want a second or you want me to?
I will second. Thank you. I didn't hear. Yes, thank you.
Okay,
If motion's been made and seconded, and just say all in favor, say aye.
All in favor, say
aye.
Opposed?
opposed, any opposed?
All right, and I will circulate the final order for review, and Angela can then sign it, and Shelley can then issue it. With complaint 24-0411-1, I would suggest that a motion be made to accept the recommendations of the investigating officer, and have those recommendations incorporated into the terms of a final order to be issued by this board.
So move.
Seconded, Jeff.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
And then finally, with respect to complaint 24-0411-2, again, I would suggest that a motion be made to accept the recommendations of the investigating officer and to have a final report, or excuse me, a final order issued consistent with those recommendations. So moved.
Seconded, Jeff.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, that disposes of the business regarding the complaints. As I said, I will circulate the draft of the final order, and Angela will sign and get that to Shelley for issuance of those final orders to the public. Now,
We move on to the.
budget, yep.
I just included that in your packet for tonight, since we've been busier than normal with complaints, so that you kind of know where everything stands financially. We have a $20,000 budget that we start with at the beginning of each January. And we're down to just under $6,000 left to spend in 2024, without requesting additional funding from council.
Do you believe that will carry us for the rest of the remainder?
No,
Okay,
I don't. I don't know at this point how much over we're gonna go. But given the work that the investigative officer has done this year, which is far greater than in past years, I believe we're gonna go over budget.
so what,
So if
I'd
that
like to make
happens,
a motion that says you go back and ask for some more money, but I would need a little guidance on how much.
yeah, so we'll do that at a future meeting when I have a little better idea. I just at this point wanted everybody to be aware.
So you're counting on another meeting. I was trying to skip another meeting.
Well, yeah, we still have one complaint in process, so
Yes.
depending on how
Yeah, the real,
how that goes, there will probably be another meeting this year.
yeah, I mean, with the one pending complaint that's being investigated that we're aware of, the real kicker is if that were to go to to a hearing. The likely expense would exceed the budgeted amount.
Shelley, do we have, the actual, I mean, is that something that you could forward to the members of the budget versus actual to date?
So that was part of the packet that I emailed. It was the very last page.
Oh,
So what
okay,
it shows is the starting budget that the ethics board has, and then itemizes out what I've paid out so far.
okay.
I can resend that to you.
No, I did, I must have, I printed out everything, but I must have missed that. So that's fine.
The remaining amount, Jeff, that's available is $5,909.50.
Is there a, well, this is the 24 budget, okay.
Yeah, and for 25, I put in for the same amount. Unsure, but when it gets closer to when council is doing finalizing those numbers, there's a little bit of wiggle room for me if you go over to ask for more for 2025.
Okay,
Don't forget, this is not a mayoral election year.
No.
No.
We just inaugurated a new council and we're
So,
beginning of 24.
because that's usually when all the excitement happens, people want to poke at finances and
Well,
all that stuff.
the 2 points to remember are, one is the charter does obligate council to appropriate sufficient funds
Oh, okay.
that's for us to conduct our business. And relative to that, we did have 1 year, many years ago with, during a prior administration, where, Shelley, you were around, right? I mean, we
Oh,
must,
yeah.
we must have had 30 complaints.
Mhm.
And that was the year we really busted through the budget
Quickly.
quickly. Many years, we haven't even approached using the annual budget, and we've been well within. So, I mean, I guess my point is if we have to go back to request additional funds for this year, and we do have a track record of many years, we have not spent the money that's been budgeted for this board because we just haven't had that much business. I don't know if that matters to anybody in the city, but
So year to date, city budget, is it like overspent or are they sitting pretty?
Overall,
Mhm.
We haven't got to 24 yet. They're still finalizing the 23 audit, but there was a surplus last year.
Okay, so you're feeling,
I feel like they'll be, we have a.
and, and the fact is, as Ed said, that they have to finance us by charter. right?
Yeah, that was specifically put in so that they couldn't sort of eliminate the board by just not allocating any money to the board.
Okay. Is that part of, Dr., is that part of council's or the administration's budget?
We have our own.
So
We have a
we
line
have
item.
our own.
The
budget.
ethics has a line
Oh,
item.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I would need to request a transfer
Mhm.
and a reappropriation to. the
Okay.
ethics.
That was a curiosity question.
Yep.
So that was an update.
Anything else on this?
We kind of skipped over board policy on the enforcement of subpoenas. Is that for a later date? Or is there an update?
Well,
today?
that's been hanging around for quite a while,
Yep.
as I keep reminding everybody, it's up to me to get that done, and I just haven't done it.
Okay,
We had it, just a reminder, Ralph, the genesis of this was, and it was a number of years ago now, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Does it sound right?
No, it would have been the late teens, 2018,
Yeah,
19.
there was a matter that, maybe 2 matters that went to a hearing.
Mhm.
And there were witnesses who needed to be compelled to testify, so subpoenas were issued by the board and ignored. And there was a question that arose as to how non-compliance with a subpoena would be enforced. You know, if there's a subpoena issued out of a court and there's non-compliance, I mean, the court has several tools in its toolbox to force compliance, fines, sending the sheriffs out to, you know, bring the person in to court, which has been done on occasion. The code of ethics really doesn't have any mechanism within it relative to compliance with a subpoena. Now, they were able to work around it. They did go to court on those hearings and were able to get compliance, but the thought was we would have to get, you know, this would have to be approved by council as an amendment to the code of ethics, would be to put something into the code that would allow the board some authority to enforce compliance with its own subpoenas.
Okay. And now that you refresh me, I do remember us talking about that at a previous meeting. Okay,
So, are we moving then to decide on our next meeting date or shall we?
I'll call everybody based on the reaction to these final orders, if there's any follow-up that needs to happen. Or if we receive any others for the open complaints that are still.
Very good.
you need a motion to adjourn? Okay.
Adjourn. Thank you, everyone, for that.